Hello, 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 and welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am One Lion, and I have a deep breath for you. Okay, the Dark Knight is back. Hello, hello, Thindle, Dukasoft, and Tyron, and Stream Elements. Glad to see you're still here. Giving the wrong title for the video. I updated that before I started the stream, so that should have pushed everywhere. So hopefully the actual video title isn't incorrect. I do have one quick thing that I want to finish up before I start. Yeah, so the title did get pushed to Twitch. That's going to be this. So while you are waiting for me, how is everyone doing? How's your Monday starting? For those of you that are almost all the way through your Monday, how did it go? What fun, fantastic, amazing, crazy things happened? Do. Change you to Windows. Grab color theme. Thindle said, I've been thinking, is it the one lion or one of the lions? Good question. I do know that there are many, many lions, and I am just one of many. Thindle had an interview today, and he thinks he nailed it. Awesome. Awesome. If you feel like sharing any extra details. So the bit of information that he gave is it's for a consulting gig, by the way, so still running my company. That's cool. Soft isn't software is here. Hello. Hello, hello. So I had a dream. Um, like I had a conversation with my wife about, how to, I just said, about how to go about abstracting all of the libraries and stuff to match their pattern. They being, sorry, I'm talking about my work stuff. So abstracting my implementations enough so that it would be really easy to just take their existing code, plug it in, and into my UI, and then plug my UI into their application. So that'll be it's been interesting, and I started going a direction, and then it just, oh my goodness, the all of the generics that I was using in that would make it a nightmare to maintain. So I'm trying another approach using something that I haven't really used, which is shared projects. I don't know how many of you are familiar with those, or if they're still popular to use, or if they still have uses, but like I am super used to having shared class libraries. And then whenever I need to use that in another project, I would just package it up into a NuGet package and then include that package with whatever other project I'm trying to use it in. So in this case, I was thinking have my abstraction layer as a NuGet package as a shared class library. But instead, what I'm doing is they already have a shared project. So I made a shared project that is based off of that shared project. So both their shared project and my shared project, which include the additional models that my application uses, such as specific enums or excuse me, specific enums or like additional classes. I'm trying to use all of their classes from their abstraction layer. So no, there's multiple. There's one shared project for all of the models, it kind of looks like, and then one shared project for all of the tooling. So the ones that I'm working on now are the shared projects for the models, as well as when I get to it, my interfaces that will use the models from that shared project, which hopefully will use a lot of theirs and very few of mine. And I opened up the wrong one. Dagnabbit, I'll get to that. So Zulius came in. Good evening to you. Scott came in with a aw. With a fantastic applies danced up. Oh my gosh. I'll show that once I start sharing my desktop. But that's an awesome little emote picture. Okay, I am almost done with what I was working on though. So let me just get through this really quick. I would really, really like to have this, at least all of my models. Oh, okay, that's fine. I would at least like to have all of my models abstracted and replace the usage of all of the models in my interfaces, in my service interfaces, and in my UI. I'd like to replace all of those, or at least in my shared class library that the UI is using. But one thing that this is going to break immediately is I had a few enum extensions that would be able to get the localized versions of the strings. And that's going to be interesting to figure out how I'm going to get around that. Yes, save. How many more are there? That might be a bit much. This might take longer than I think it's going to take, but I'm just going to go for like just a little bit, just a slight bit longer. Is pass or fail? Save. Import some enums. Is looking good so far. Hello? Hello. I'm going to keep looking over at the screen just to make sure that I can see chat. Scott just owns a lot of emotes. Software posted this crazy looking toad. It's giving me a seizure. If any of you happen to have time, so I've been like super busy with a new project. I don't know what to call it. It's not really a new project. It is an effort that is getting started. So I've been trying to put together notes for that because that is like going to be, there's a deadline of work to be done on that for 2 weeks from now, or from 2 Fridays from now. So I want to make sure to get my feedback in today as well. I just need access to some of the resources before I can do that. And then I also got information about some other things that I am interested in that are going to be provided by the company that I work for. So this is all, of course, for the job that I am working at. They're going to give me an opportunity to participate in some mixed reality related topics, including gaining skills in mixed reality. So if I can do that as part of my job, that's just going to be most optimal for me to be able to pick up on MR skills. Okay, almost there. Almost there. Only 62 more errors, guys. Um, right. Next. What phone? Didn't I just clear you out? Control. So Thindle was saying there's a Discord discussion going on about how to steal Jeff Fritz's Clippy costume for TwitchCon. Just make your own. He told you exactly how to make it. Took a pool noodle, made it white, put some big googly eyes on it, and I can't remember if it has a smile or not. There's no need to be stealing. Oh my gosh. He's a generous person. Do, do. I started to say something about if any of you have any time, someone posted, thank you, Zulia. Someone posted a question in Discord in the not, I think they used the not.net channel, even though it is .net related, I think. But I started a thread for it, so if you hop into that thread and join that discussion, if you could help out. BitGamey's here. Hello, BitGamey. Awesome. Oh my gosh. So cool to have you here. I'll give you guys some shout outs soon. For Softists and Software and BitGamey, I'll at least shout them out now, verbally. If you have not checked them out, so Softists and Software has been working on. It feels weird not looking at the camera while saying this. Softists and Software has been working on some Office add-ins using Blazor. He had a stream, I think, Friday, but I didn't actually. I wasn't able to watch. I can't remember why. I was already watching like 3 streams before he started. And that was already a lot. Swangware was also streaming. I remember seeing Swangware streaming, who's kind of been just doing a whole bunch of stuff. It was Thursday. Who's kind of been doing a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of what Swangware has been doing has been writing extensions for CAD to automate a lot of the processes that he works with, which I love automation. So 2 things that I'm absolutely enjoying from our community already. And then BitGamey is making his own game called I Am Dog. At least I'm pushing for it to be I Am Dog eventually. Right now it's I Am a Dog. But he said it's subject to change. It could change eventually. So definitely check him out whenever you notice he's streaming. If anything, give all these guys a follow. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. Give them a follow. They're worth watching. They are all worth watching. And BitGamey has so much interactiveness on his stream. It's so much fun. He has like some amount of language recognition where when you put certain words in your chat, it'll trigger an event on his stream. Like if you ever put the word love in there, it'll do the can you feel the love? You can make him do the chicken dance. You can drop hot dogs on his head, turn him into a hot dog, take a Polaroid picture that shows up in his Discord. Oh, it's so cool. So many cool things. I could use a better bot. I won't be doing any extra work on the bot for now, but it is at least stable enough to do the things that we want it to do, which are to respond to commands that Stream Elements has, except for the shoutout command. Which I'm relying on Stream Elements for. Oh, right, and the massage peen. and the regular built-in stream elements commands. So I'm letting stream elements do all of its built-in commands, but all of the custom commands that we added, like project or YouTube or GitHub or YAR, yeah, those automated rumps. That's my bot. That's my boy. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so many of these that I need to replace now. I was thinking that I used them in more than just one place. So right now, every error that I have is coinciding with one file, where I was hoping I would have multiple errors per file. Like this one. Cool, that got rid of 5. I guess there are 2 per file, so I still have at minimum 20 files left. And all I'm doing, like I said, is I moved out like my enums. I took all of my enums and I put them in an abstraction shared project, because enums to me are already abstracted. It's not like you're going to implement your own enum. You don't have a way to say you must implement these enums, at least not that I'm aware of. So I put them inside of this abstraction library. And another one is the model. Well, I guess I haven't done that yet. So the models themselves are going to have interfaces. The state classes are going to have interfaces, and the services are going to have interfaces, which they kind of already do. But I will also make it so that the services must return the interface of the model. And what I started trying to do was have it try to return in generic, that where the generic implements the interface, because I needed a way to be able to new up the yeah, still need to figure that part out, but I needed a way to make a new instance in some of my UI pages. So like in our financial management app, let's say you're trying to fill in a payment data entry thing, and the only thing you have is an payment data entry model or something. I would still need a way for you to instantiate a new payment data entry model to be used in your data entry form. I don't have to, I guess. I could just create a form that submits the data as part of a form, and then you have to, in your API controller or whatever you're using for your backend, you would go into request.form and pull out the data. But I don't want to do that because I want to use the hard, strongly typedness. Almost there. Okay. You know what I could do is for everywhere that tries to use you my shared enums, turn off warnings. All right, so first of all, maybe I need to, you know what, that is going to take too much time. I'll just do everything that I currently have open that says anyone that's using my shared enums, just tell it to use my abstraction enums in all open documents. All right, and then I'll catch up to that later. Okay, on to you guys. I apologize for eating up some of our stream time with work, but I care about my work quite a bit, and I want to get it all done especially since I have a status meeting tomorrow every Tuesday. I love this background. It looks really cool. So I'm using a website called window-swap.com in case you ever want to see any of these scenes. They seem like they're 20-minute pre-recorded videos that are submitted to this windowswap.com website. And yeah, I just have it loop whichever one it happens to land on for the day. And today is looking outside of a window in Norte Paraná, Brazil. Get out of the way. So nice. So nice. I like the ones that have cats. All right, so yeah, these are just going to be links to their channels. But here's Tyndall. Tyndall has been working on modernizing some legacy applications, which again, another one of those topics that I absolutely love. That's what I'm currently doing as well. I am modernizing the UI portion of an application that has existed for quite some time. But he's going from .NET Framework to web forms to MVC to .NET Core, .NET 6, 7, and up, potentially Blazor. So yeah, good time. Who else do we say? Bigamy. We said Bigamy. We said soft as in software. Who's soft in software is in my rotation of automatic shoutouts, so that was unfair. Oh well. Swingware. Cool. Did anyone else happen to come in that streams that I missed? I mean, Tyron said he streamed once upon a time. Do. Oh yeah, and then, okay, so let me get this over here onto this screen. Get you over here. Move you over there. More on Mixit than Twitch, though. Where is Teams? Teams. There you go. And you go over here. Cool. Is that everything that I needed to move over onto the other screen? I think so. And finally, open up FineAnman. There we go. There we go. There is an emote off going on between Thindle and Scod. But let me show you this Scod one, the one that Scod posted way up here. Dang. Dag. That's a lot already. Oh, I love this. Guys. That one's perfect. And then there was the toadstool that Soft as in Software posted. Oh my gosh. He seems to be in a bad way. Nom noms. Oh, nom noms. Poor Cookie. Dude, stop distracting him. Let him do his work, man. That's one thing that I'm afraid of with having too much interaction is it could get annoying to some viewers because I get annoyed by the overuse of redemptions. But that's just me. Oh my goodness, this one's terrible. A bipedal horse that only has legs. Copperbeardy. Hello, Copperbeardy. Ugh, creepy. Rabbit. Wee. Run, kitty, run. Oh, I love the kitty. I just hover over them. That's all. And I don't know if it does it in actual Twitch. No, it doesn't do it inside of the Twitch window. So this is from OBS. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pull over the financial management tracker progress that we've made so far, which is this one on top. A. BTT. BTTV extensions. Would be a way to do it. I have a pile of kitties from Marriott's stage. From Maria the Padawan. Padawan. Sorry. Good times. Good times. Celia says, it does inside the Twitch chat pane for me, so it may be from Better TTV. I have no idea what the second T. Better Twitch TV, I guess, or Franker Face Z. I have both of those installed though, and it doesn't in mine. I'm pretty sure I have them both installed. Better TTV. And no, I don't have Franker Face Z installed. So it could be Franker Face. But I see, look. I have Better TTV installed, and I hover and I don't get bigger. But I don't have Franker Face. Unless you were just saying Better Twitch TV is what Better TTV means. Sorry, Zulius. I understand what you meant now. Cool. Okay, so we've been having fun with this. This is still going to be my normal extension for get display text and get localized string. I'm okay with those. We're not going to do anything weird with that. What I started doing in my abstraction layer was for things like one model that uses, say, a collection of another model, I've been saying, give me the actual concrete type when you implement this. So when you implement an iPayment entry view model, you're going to supply in your definition for it the concrete class of your I line item view model. The more I went through this, the more this list got bigger and bigger for some classes in my existing project that I've been working on. And so the real answer should be that I just tell this thing to be an I collection of I line item view model. The problem is that I now would need to create a custom converter for all of my anything that says deserialize an I line item view model. Maybe I can do it in a generic enough way where I might be able to scan the assemblies and say what implements an I line item view model. and then deserialize to that in my custom serializer. That way I only need to write one custom serializer, and it will infer the concrete class based off of the first one that it finds that implements that interface. Hello, Cyan Streams. Another fantastic streamer just came in, sharing so many amazing pictures of his cats in Discord, in Pet Love. Oh, I love them so much. But also having a fun time on a stream, having a blast. Always a joy. Oops. I will get you guys customer shoutouts eventually. But for now. We shout out. We bang shout out. And then Automated Realm slaps my hand, but then Stream Elements is like, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it for you. Thank you, Professor. You are quite welcome indeed. So right now, that's the only one that I need to worry about. So you will see where the issue comes in when we start doing the back end. For now, I'm not doing the back end. For now, we're just going to continue on with rigging up our UI. So let's see where we're at. I really don't remember where we left off because a weekend has passed. Wasm. Oh, wasm-gasm. Kind of makes you want to say wasm instead. But yeah, it's been getting more and more busy for me. It's almost feeling like it's starting to get to a point where it's hard to manage and keep up. And the only thing that happened was 2 more opportunities showed up during my normal work, my job. My job provided 2 more opportunities for me. Okay. Whew. We're going to have to figure that out, though. It'll be good. We'll figure it out. We got this. We got this. Cool. So it saved, it built, and it ran. Here's our data entry. So I lost my styles when I moved everything out into their separate. I turned all of the form portions of each of these pages into a separate component and then combined all of the pages into one page that controls which form is displayed via these tab buttons up here. So I need to figure out why I lost my styles. Let's close everything that is not Sass. The only thing we care about are those models and pages and stuff that have Sass. Because if you ain't got Sass, you don't belong. We'll call you back later. Okay, here is my basic styles for the data entry page. This gives me my header, my data entry tabs. So the header itself is this thing. The header the header is this part here that has the data entry tabs inside of it. That's what I said. So here is the header, and here are the data entry tabs. I just set the page up to be grid, which will automatically set up my 2 rows for me. I don't know that I really intend to have it be like that, but that's fine for now. That's fine. It's fine. So then we have our section And then if the section happens to be a data entry section, we give it a padding. We target the title within that section. And then inside of this, oh, there we go. What if we target it using the wrapper? There we go. Cool. So we have our payment entry. Wrapper. And now inside of that, we have our payment entry form, which is a data entry form. So that should be getting display grid, right? But for some reason, it's not getting the isolated CSS. Whatever this is called, attribute. What are these called? Attributes. Which means that it's not targeting it. Payment entry form. Did I spell? I keep wondering if I spelled something wrong, but I didn't. Class as an attribute, yeah, essentially. Does it have something to do with this being? Oh yeah. Okay, so what I think is that this payment entry form is actually inside of the component because I needed to wrap the component inside of a wrapper so that it can do : deep payment entry form. So let's look at that real quick. Apparently I do need one of you. So payment entry. Can I see your structure? Yeah, here's my payment entry wrapper with my edit form component that I should be targeting inside of my payment entry using : deep. So what we saw, I think, is if we manually set display grid in here, it took effect, or not, but it did just now. Quoi? So if I get rid of that, wait, what? Here's an idea. Application, clear site data, which should clear all of our cache and all of our CSS and everything that mayhaps had been stuck in memory. I close that. I stop the app. And let's go ahead and do a full clean. Just give me another console. .NET clean. You can move over here too. Then we can rebuild. Done. And then .NET watch. Just going to open over here because I have my existing open windows over there. I pulled it back over her. F12. Yeah, I still got nothing. Sumimasen, where are you getting display grid from? If not, from data entry.razor. Display grid, align items, flex end, gap, one rim. That's exactly what we see here. So now the question is, why come? I bet you, I bet you I'm being a super special kid and I forgot to compile the CSS. Oh, I'm sure one of you would have caught it if I had the thing. Thank you, Dukasoft. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, well, that works the way that we're expecting it to when it actually has a CSS file as the isolated CSS for it. Great. We can go ahead and move this to the code behind because I think we are pretty solid with that. Cool. Hello, Spirit of the War. Why Java developers wear glasses? That's a hard one. I'm not exactly sure. Why don't you tell us? Zulius, how dare you? I kid. How are you doing, Spirit of the War? I hope you're having a fun day. Do, do, do. I guess I could have done more than just these. Dang it. Spacebar. And you go. Okay. Should be able to do all of them. All of them that are like this will be It's okay. It's okay, Spirit of the War. We've only heard it like 30 times or so. And there's this. I don't know why I'm spending so much time trying to clean up our temporary code, but it bothers me, okay? All right. So, we have that in the code behind file. Oh yeah, guys. Deflux showed me, found someone very recently called Solo Solipsist, and he does HoloLens streaming. He streams his HoloLens stuff. So I've been watching him a lot. Or not really a lot. I watched him for the first time on Friday. It looks like he streams generally on Fridays. So I'll be watching him on Fridays more than being inside of the community voice channel. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what all he has. So let me do a quick shout out for him. If you're interested in AR or watching someone try their hand at AR, definitely give him a follow. Watch him. Ooh, I will check them out. Softism Software says Source Scoot is also doing that. I am really hoping that this this mixed reality thing that is happening through the place that I work, excuse me, is going to give me more exposure and maybe more hands-on training with the HoloLens more than just the Microsoft Learn courses where everything is pre-made for you and you aren't learning as much. You don't go as deep into like the process of creating experiences and planning and actually developing them. So, but yeah, so definitely gonna check them out too whenever I see. Oh yeah, do they have a schedule? Yes, a schedule, and they're gonna be on today. So if they are streaming today, that's where I'm gonna be um, instead of the community voice channel if I see them go live after the stream. So this is going to be 30 minutes after my stream ends. Oh, and this is going to be great, especially if they keep to this schedule, then I'll be able to watch them on Mondays and Thursdays and then solo solipsis on Fridays. Because I want to surround myself with AR dev. We will probably have a mixed reality um, thing. Oh yeah, and then Captain Commerce would be on after that guy. Provided Captain Commerce is able to stream tonight. He had some family emergencies, I think, that kept him from being able to stream on Friday at least. He's also Dutch, so always after your stream like me. Awesome. Yeah, and of course I'll be lurking on multiple people's channels to give you the viewership and also to support you with my energies because I have a very enthusiastic energy towards programming and whatever Science Streams does. It's so cool. It's so awesome that we get to have like I get to claim that there's someone in my community that is into like real real science. I know that that's kind of rude to myself. Computer science is a real science, but this is like physical world science and just like yeah. I know that I'm like not an outwardly high energy type of person, but my enthusiasm for software development hopefully translates as a I don't know, a sensation that you get. You feel uplifted and like you should be pursuing software development the way that you currently are. Because I want more people to be software developers, create more things. I know it's hard for that to be such a focused desire because I also want useful and targeted products to be made. But the more people we can get doing software development, the more chance we have of getting a useful product. Like all of these extensions that Softists and Software works on. Add-ins. Add-ins. Okay, moving on. What do you look like? Good. Nothing yet. I will stop gushing for now. Not for long though. Okay, I need not to push the escape key. Did Shift Escape close my Solution Explorer? That's mean. I wasn't expecting that. All right, I meant to Shift F2, please. Deposit entry, razor, SAS. Oh, I could have done both of them. Transfer entry, razor, SAS. You will build, so I don't forget to do this, and you will build. There we go. We've got it. Shift F2 is only when you have installed the extension add new file. So you have to have add new file installed for Shift F2 to bring up that little dialog. I will be offline the upcoming 4 or 5 weeks for honeymooning. Awesome. Well, I hope you have fun, Softas and Software. Maybe by the time you get back, I will be at a I keep feeling like there's bugs crawling on me. I'll be at a more stable point with my comfort level in the XR stuff I might be doing. And the other thing that's coming up is, I just want to remind you, I will have jury duty potentially on the 19th, which I think is a Monday. Yeah, on the 19th, I'm supposed to report for jury duty unless the Friday before they tell me I don't need to, in which case I won't. But thank you so much for the follow. Italo Rayon. How do we pronounce that? I want to know how to pronounce your name, if you feel like letting me know. Otherwise, we will just keep going and styling these pages. We're going to follow the same example that we have in payment as far as creating a grid template for our data entry. You're from Brazil. Awesome. No, you're definitely okay. Don't ever feel like you have to apologize for your name. The cool thing about Twitch is that we get to have viewers from everywhere around the world. The difficult thing is looking at a user handle and knowing easily where it's from, because obviously it'd be pronounced differently depending on what part of the world you're from. And so, was I anywhere close with my pronunciation? So both of my parents are from Puerto Rico, even though I don't have a Puerto Rican accent. But that'd be Italo Rayon or Rajon, depending on how hard of a Y sound you make. Even from the worst place on earth, the Netherlands. That's so mean. I don't agree with that. There are far worse places. This. Oh yeah. I need to update those. Upin. Let's grab some structure real quick. Payment entry, deposit entry, and transfer entry. So just like in payment entry, I need to wrap. The pronunciation is basically the same. Cool. Italo Rayon. Yeah, I think in Puerto Rico we would use, and I could be wrong about this because I haven't really been keeping up with my roots. But we have a stronger j sound on Y's. What just happened? Why? What are you? Okay. Something's got to work. So it'd be Italo Rajon. Ragione. Give payment. Give me a code behind. Semicolon there. Control W, Control KD. Speaking of, I hadn't had this going for a while. Let me know if this gets annoying, if you prefer not having it on screen. There were some people that did let me know that they didn't like having keycast. So keycast will show up when I push some combination of keys. So like my backspace. You can see it show up down there in the bottom left corner. So you know which keyboard shortcuts I'm pushing to do the things that I'm doing. Disco wants to know what is a good email for me to send you my job hunting details? PM me in Discord. Direct message me in Discord. Rayon. Or Rayone, I guess. Zilius was the one that said he finds keycaps distracting. Yeah, so just let me know if it does get distracting. I don't mind not having it on at all. It doesn't seem to have bothered anyone that I didn't have it on. So, yeah. So I'll do that. Did I miss anything? True, the Netherlands is one of the richest countries in Europe, filled with unthankful people. And then Zulia said, can't be so bad when I see thousands of German cars travel there for shopping each week. Then Soften Software said, that's because there are boatloads of cars from New Zealand pumping gasoline in Germany. Rayon. Ne. Rayone. Rayone. Okay, one of them is going to work. The most recent one that I said, Rayone, is how it's pronounced. I have a niece named Raibel, and I think her name is spelled similar to that. Blood Drunk is here. Hello, Blood Drunk. Did anyone else sneak in that I didn't see? Taryn says, I need to find more time to play with my Tilt 5 AR system. Yeah. I hope it's cool. Awesome. What kind of applications do you develop, Italo? Can I just call you Italo? Or would you prefer Rayon? Either way, I'm okay with it. Whatever you want. Live Coding is here. He's been using up our Blazor channel to give us a journal type of his experiences with scraping and other related topics. Still no Sexbox key snagged. I don't think I understand. Sexbot, maybe? Maybe it's to live coding for the stuff that he's trying to do. I was disqualifying myself. Thinking about my illegal web robot that will get me a Sexbox key. Okay. I just need to actually read chat in order, but right now it's hard for me to read them in order. I don't know why, but I'll do better. But live coding is AFK. Go be AFK. Don't let me distract you. For your stream where it's this open for questions, one could just ask for the shortcut. Yeah. But I also don't mind the keycast. Cool. Because it's sandbox. I get it. S ampersand B or D S ampersand box. And Zulius calls it sex box. Got it. Blood Drunk says illegal web robot. Color me intrigued. Yeah, just head to the Blazor channel in Discord. He gave us a play-by-play, essentially. I didn't know if you were looking for any actual responses to it or if you were just blogging, pretty much, which I completely don't mind, of course. It's a good use for the channel. Although you should have probably done it in a thread. That way, if anyone did have any questions, any Blazor related questions, they could post it there. So Idaldo said, I work in public administration. Basically, we develop projects for our own use, most MVCs. That sounds like where I used to work. I used to work for human resources. And so I did a lot of maintenance and extra functionality development for human resources automation. And Live Coding was responding to Blood Drunk saying it is not explicitly against the rules for the record, and Gary's mod has put a lot of anti-bot things in there, and he is devious. Live Coding says, I have a potential real blog series I can post about the whole project and talk about all kinds of nutsy things like Sinafin framework, but I have to get the key first. Cool. Sorry, that joke was so bad. So bad. Good times. Fantastic times. Wonderful times. Marvelous times. Yeah, so let's style deposits real quick. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to copy the structure. Right. And I am going to give these, actually, you know what? I'm going to call all of them data entry wrappers. That way they don't get different names. Payment entry. Data entry wrapper. Because the forms are the ones that I'm giving the specific ID to. And that way, if I want to style the data entry wrappers uniformly, then I could do that inside of my data entry page. Like a so. Cool. So then that means that your ID needs to be deposit entry, which it is, and yours is transfer entry. Perfect. So let's grab some CSS. I now copy all Juve. You. Pasta. Go. One more. Yeah, it's DADDA, apparently. Data entry wrappers, trademarked. Drop a date, add some values, make it cool, mate. Yes. All the wrappers. All right, Dugasoft, thank you so much for being here, for lurking, for all of your creative energy and support. All right, grid, template, areas, areolas. Whoa. Okay, we should refer back to our design. Hello, design. Figma. Fugma. Oh, I can't type. Typing ability is going down the drain. He did a mic drop. This isn't where it would be. It would be in our whiteboard. I apologize for showing this again. I could just keep it off screen so you don't have to suffer through my very, very fast sketch of what this page might look like. Tasty. I kept it up, chat. Silius was saying to Tigasoft, "Oh no, I'm not tired yet." Yay! He covered up chat. Um, let's see. Which one is this? Deposits. Okay, so those of you with weak constitutions, cover your eyes. This is the deposit entry sketch page, which isn't nearly as detailed as the payment entry page. So anyway, deposit entry just has 1, 2, maybe 3 columns. But I want the submit button to be in the same place every time. So that's going to be important. I don't even have a submit button in here. I think I might have ended up putting it over here. We can, of course, find out. Celia says, still looking better than my sketches. That's mean. I doubt it. I doubt it. Why didn't I style those? Hello? What's going on here? Payment entry. Submit button is SUB, and that's supposed to be at the bottom right of the last row with posted date, account, submit. Posted date is grid area PD, account is grid area AC, and submit is grid area sub. Did I maybe forget to make those IDs? No, that's an ID. Account, save button. Oh. That should be save button. But still not quite right. Excuse me, transaction details. You're taking up too much space. Did I structure you incorrectly? Are you in the wrong place? You should be an immediate child of form, and you are. What? Channel points redeemed. I'm getting bot notifications when channel points get redeemed. Ba-ba-ba-bum. I'm really, really, really happy about that if you couldn't tell. So I don't think that there is too much extra that I need to do in order for having the bot listen to... There it goes, see? What's up? There isn't much that I have to do with getting the bot to listen to channel events now. It's all set up. You gonna alert too? You're gonna alert too? Kawaii. Check out this little husky looking thing. Oh. All right, enjoy the lurk. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, it did. It absolutely did. I saw it show up. So I don't have like the name of the redeem. It just says that it showed up on my channel. This is my channel ID. Encoding with Scott. Tried to do message bean, and Automated Realms was like, you know what? I can't let you do that in Stream Elements. Was like, you can do it. I'll take care of it. Automated Realms is still just a baby. It doesn't know. But hi, Coding with Scott. He wanted to know what his massage peen is. That is a lot of hours. It's 27 hours of watching. Yes, at the moment, Stream Elements greater than Automated Realms. One day. One day. Oh, I'm not offended by that. I think he's right. payment entry form. Yes. Okay. Does my payment entry form have an ID? It does. Do you actually show grid area? You don't. Okay. So for some reason, what's going on? Because I'm not cool enough to say what's up. For some reason, I lost my grid areas. For some reason, I lost my isolated CSS. Is it because it's... I know that I put you inside of a data entry wrapper. I called your class data entry wrapper. Section data entry wrapper. Right here. Right, when did that happen? Data entry wrapper is in... No. Wait, what? You know what? Sounds like it's really isolated, yes. That was a long cooldown, 2 minutes exactly. Yeah, it is. Somebody might not actually be a fan of that sound clip. You know, namely me. That's confusing. Do massage peen, it's funnier. This is the total amount of time that you could be watching. 2 months, 8 days, and 16 hours of stream time. Oh, Tyrant, thank you so much for responding to 4 days, 13 hours. Like, I'm only streaming 2 hours a day now. That is a lot of watch time. 48 plus 13, 61 hours. Does that actually match up with what it said for your watch time? Yep, it is. It is. Scott and Thindle have been watching for about the same amount of time. Only one stream apart. Ish. Okay, why aren't you applying? Data entry wrapper. That's so weird. The only thing that I did was change the class name. Okay, let's go back to how you were just to see if I am crazy, because I know I am. So you better prove it to me that I am. Oh, it could be. No, maybe not. Yeah. What? Okay, okay. If I make this class data entry wrapper, and then I change my target in the code behind in the isolated CSS, What? All right. What if I left you at data wrapper, changed you back to payment, and then I changed you? I got this. I got this. Give me a second. I'll figure this out. When you have a class name of payment entry wrapper, am I using data entry wrapper somewhere else? That is a possibility. So I know that I'm using data entry in the data entry page. Ah, you shouldn't be payment page either. Okay, so that didn't break things. So I'm using data entry page, page content, and then data entry is the section. So let's just call this data entry section. Since we're cleaning stuff up. Okay. And then, aha. Aha. You needed to be updated to data entry wrapper data entry form. And that means that now all of these can be data entry wrapper, data entry wrapper. There we go. Got it. Got it. Told you we were going to figure it out. So deposit is next, and now we should be able to target everything that we want to target. Excuse me. Where we have our, what did we call the, I want to be consistent. TD, which is transaction date. I think I said that I'm going to go ahead and do three columns. Did I say 3 columns? No, because I wanted this to be as far right as possible. So it's only 2 columns. So TD, we'll do 3 columns. What did I do for account? That's pay 2, just regular. AC, I think, is what I put for account. Okay, so that's row 1. Row 2. Oh my goodness. This is when GitHub Copilot isn't as helpful, or even IntelliCode. It's like giving me suggestions and I push escape to not take the suggestion, and then I push tab to move everything over, and then it takes the suggestion, and it's like I said no suggestion. Deposit reason, I will make take up 2. Deposit reason. And stop it. I am going to fire you. Memo. Oops, that one was my fault. And finally, amount. Submit. I think I called it sub. Okay, what do you say? So now we say inside of here, we got our different field, form, fire, fickle friends, which is a really cool group if you've ever heard of them. So we got Transdate, payee, memo, line item, line item. Oh. I'm on the wrong page. I was like, why are there line items? Why you didn't tell me? Deposit, please. ID, account, ID. What? ID, date. Okay, transdate, account, reason, ID memo, ID amount, and ID div ID submit button. Class from group. There you go. Okay, so UE, UE, Control Tab twice, 3 times. A lady. Make them rules. Give them all a grid area. And I will go ahead and manually style this so that I don't lose my carriage returns on the grid area template, grid template areas. Kick. So you are TD, AC, doctor, Menmo, amount, submit button. And with the magic of the internet and hot reload, son of a. We see our styles applied. Not really, though. That doesn't look right. Yeah, that's not applying. Why isn't it applying? Well, because you suck at that. You should try harder. I'm not going to do grid template columns yet. But grid template areas, I should be following this exact same pattern, except instead of payment, I am using deposit. We don't get the grid template areas. Oh, because you don't use strings around the actual grid area name. Got it. There we go. Okay. So I really don't like this thing taking up that much space, but we're going to see what it looks like when I do grid dig template columns. I did 12 characters for my first column in the other page. Maybe I do 12 characters for the second column and auto for the third. I don't mind that. So then the other thing is giving it a specific width, maybe. Which would be 14, 24, 32, 40 plus 2. I don't remember what my space is in between each. What is my grid gap? Does anyone remember? I sure don't. grid gap was 1 rem. So 40 plus 1, 2, 3, 4 rem. Mind the gap. Max width. Actually, let's just do width. Calc. 40 characters plus 4 rem. There you go. And now those two should be exactly the same width. Cool. Give me all this. Mcopy, mpasta. And you are going to be transfer entry form, which is going to look very different. Very different. Data entry section, data entry wrapper, transfer entry form. Perfect. Now I need to put some IDs on my transfer elements. ID is transfer date. ID equals memo. ID equals from account. ID equals to account. And ID equals amount. And submit button. Oh no. Control K. Control KD. Done with that. Cool. And now we just need to put things where they belong. What are we doing? How am I doing? What are I would like a U, a U, a yo, no, a U. All right, we're gonna get somewhere today. This is gonna be nice. We're gonna have all of this basic styling for our data entry form done very shortly. And once we do that, then we can get started on maybe thinking about trying out our hand at TDD for doing the logic in these components. But is that the appropriate place to start doing our TDD? Because I'm thinking of only doing the TDD just because I don't want to struggle with trying to learn the full process of doing TDD and figure out how to test components all at the same time. I'm going to do TDD only on the back-end portion of stuff, on the services and anything that has to do with adding data to the database or retrieving data from the database or calling into other APIs to get something for this. Yeah. Grid area. No strings this time. Remember? We talked about this. TD memo do re mi ta is one of them, right? Amount. And this should be fac and tac because I called account AC in the other ones, and then you are sub. Cool. So what do you supposed to look like is? We get TD, and that's bad. My date field is actually taking up 2. Dang. And I really would like for that to be consistent. excuse me. So I have another idea. How about if we use the exact same grid template columns for all of the data entry forms and just make just make the grid template areas different. So this would be TD, TD, AC, 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 DR, DR, dot, dot, dot. Memo, 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 memo. A dot dot sub. I think I'm going to reorganize this so memo is up here and then deposit reason and amount are together, or deposit reason and amount are together. And then memo is on the line below. This is what's really nice about using grid in my opinion, which is that you can test where things go without needing to restructure the app. The reason you would want to restructure is so that your tabs go in the right order. Okay, so then what happens if we leave you as memo, 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 put sub here, swap. Yeah, so this will be good enough for me. I just don't like memo being before deposit reason, because you might try to type in, like a new user might try to type in the deposit reason as their memo. But I also don't like having the submit button above memo. So I would still want to move the submit button down to something like this, but then that just looks awkward to me. So it's almost like I would also want my account. Ugh. Whatever. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I mean, I need to. We need to spend time on that. We'll come back to it after we do transfer real quick. So let's just sketch out transfer. Now that we know that we have to fill in 5 columns, we can do, it's pretty much going to be the same. Date, from account to account, amount, memo, submit. Okay, so we'll put you with you. She likes me for me. We know that from account and to account, back and tack might be on the same line, maybe. Still possible they're not. But just in case, let's see what that looks like. And then we had this thing up here, which kind of puts amount on the same line as that. There are no lid. I don't know. It looks like we'd be able to flow with it, I guess. But at this point, FAC and TAC are not taking up the same amount of space because the column widths are different. Which makes me want to redo the actual grid to turn it into an actual grid. All right, well, we're learning. I'm learning. I don't know about you guys. You guys are probably just like, make up your mind, dude. Actually, I don't know what you guys are like. Cetilix just started streaming, another fun streamer. I love Cetilix's bot on his channel. I mean, his channel kind of gives me anxiety attacks, but it's still good content. Okay. I could have sworn that I moved the, oh, it's right here. All right, what is the smallest? Yeah, what if I made this instead a 12 column grid? Then the grid gap would be too much. 6 column grid still, I think. And we made each seven. Which puts us at 42. Yeah, that's not bad. So repeat. 7 characters. Nope. Repeat 6 times 7 characters. 6 rem in between each, and 42. Maybe 5? I think 5. Because the gap only appears in between columns. And 6 times 7 is 42, right? Right. Okay, we're good. So let's redo our payment entry to look like TD payee, 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 payee. Because otherwise I am just splitting by hairs. I am just splitting the top row in half. And I definitely want the date column to only take up 12 characters. That's a submit button though. What are you doing? Submit button. Submit button. What are you doing? Boy. It's because I really did just call it. I called it save button. We fix that in all of them. Yes. Nothing I need to pay attention to. Or 3. Okay, there goes those. So our payment entry is going to be... Oh, stop it. Just stop it. Okay, so we have our transaction date, payee, memo's going to take up the whole line. We can do line item twice now to give it more space. And that way we can, yeah, I like that. And then obviously lit is going to take up the entire row. And posted date will take up the same amount of space as the transaction date. And then account will take up 3 spaces followed by sub. Good. I like how that looks. It looks less cramped than it did before. So I'm a fan. Next, deposit entry. You know what? Deposit entry really could take up just half of the space. I started stop it. Okay, so let's just add our extra column at the end here. Deposit reason could potentially be long. How much space did we give? Yeah, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just see what that looks like with the full space. Swap those. Man, I wish I was a better designer already. Okay, so that moves it out like that. I'll fix the styling on the actual button. It's got to be the left and right padding that's causing that weirdness. I'm almost seeing the submit button on the next line. Maybe even for all of them. Yeah. We may as well make it take up 2 spaces. Yeah, we'll try that for a bit. And when we get the colors right and when we get the sizing and everything right, it'll look better. And we'll have a better understanding of what it should look like. So it's going to be the same thing for this one. Oops, we only did 2. There we go. I should have reformatted the document first. Ops. Okay, not bad. So TD pit. Wait, this is transfer? What do you even have pit up there for at all? You shouldn't have a pit. Dag. What am I going to do with that? Just make a mount take up 2 spaces. Oh, man. You know what I could do? I could make it to where the from account and to account take up their own lines. Where the last 2 cells are the like the current amount in that account. The current balance is the word I'm looking for. Ticky ticky tack. Yeah, so the last 2 columns will be the current amount in that account, aka balance, like I said before. Cool. I'm running with it. No, I'm not. What happened to amount? I need to put amount somewhere. And then we put amount on its own line. We could put amount up here with the transaction date. Are you feeling lonely? Yeah. I'm just picturing what the things that I currently interact with that have this kind of interface look like. And we're going to be redesigning this. But for now, we have something that looks like a form that we can interact with, and we can hit the submit button, and then we should be able to populate this transaction history. I completely forgot about the transaction history. And here I was thinking that we were going to add some functionality. There is one bit of functionality that we can add right now, which is in our payment entry. So done styling those for now. In our payment entry, when we click the add button for a line item, we can have functionality. So payment, there's an add button right there. And add button would be in the table, I think. No, not in the table. It's up here. It's right here specifically. And it says we create a new line item type. Right. So we need to do some validation. So that's, we can't do that yet. Yay. I wanted to do functionality. UI stuff is no fun for me. Nice. Thank you for reloading my styles. Hello. That was so weird. Okay. Let's go ahead and start sketching out what maybe the transaction history is going to look like, which right now just says transaction history, which is weird because that's here. Because the transaction history page is going to have a transaction history component on it, and I don't want to name them the same thing because I'm going to use the transaction history component in there. So transaction history grid. How about transaction history grid? And we'll put that inside of the transaction history page. And since this is going to be used everywhere, I'm going to put the using for this one inside of imports, unlike what I did with the data entry components. Which project is this? Oh wait, you do stay up there. This project is Blazor UI. Just Blazor UI. Which goes here, alphabetically. Okay. So you should be good to go. And transaction history grid. This is where we get to find out whether or not we need to use something more advanced than just the quick grid, but I would really like to just use the quick grid, if at all possible. So I bookmarked it. Hello, Dr. Moomba. How long has it been since I've seen tabs on the left side? Not gonna lie, now I'm thinking of doing the same. Yeah, so for me, I usually have the tabs on the left. It's kind of funny because while I've been doing UI work, I've been moving it up to the top because I want the horizontal space. I just didn't do it yet. But I do strongly prefer having the tabs on the left now when I have Visual Studio in full width mode. I just like being able to easily navigate because I often have way too many tabs open. So I guess if you think that having too many tabs open is something that you should work out of your system, get out of your system, then yeah, it kind of promotes bad behavior if you think it's bad behavior. But for me, since I am often doing a lot of the same thing in multiple files, it's really nice having them organized on the left. But if you're doing a lot of the same thing in multiple files, doesn't that mean you need to do more abstraction? Hush you. Wait a minute. Huh? Oh. Oh. That's kind of cool. I need to check a thing. Wait, why didn't that work? So in my chat, in my bot for the chat log, all of my system notifications are bubbling up to the top and they're staying on top. Look, it's Scott. He's a ghost. Do you pay for GitHub Copilot? So I let the trial run out and then I didn't stop it. So yes. um, I don't know how I feel about it still. I have not greatly benefited from having Copilot, but at the same time, I'm sure there have been times when I benefited just enough that made me want to keep using it. But a lot of the times it really has been getting in the way. If you have open repos, I think it's still free. Really? I didn't think so. I thought that it was just that 1 or 3 month or however long their trial period is, and then you had to pay for it. Because this is open repo. This is public OSS. Transaction history. We're looking for QuickGrid. QuickGrid. Programming. .NET. Blazor. QuickGrid. 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 I need to rename this one. Oh, yeah. I don't have a popular open source project. So the actual quote that Soft as in Software found says, it will also be free to use for verified students and maintainers of popular open source projects. I I am not even close to being popular open source project. Oh, it's right at the top. Already? Goodness gracious. I guess you're not popular then. Oh shit. No, don't worry about it. Oh my goodness. My time is almost up, and I really, really want to get back to what I was working on so I can have something to show tomorrow. I did a lot of accessibility stuff, but I do want to add Quick Grid. I said that we'd be doing a lot of our own component making and stuff, but grids are just so much of a pain. You know what? Let's do the transaction history as a table for now. And there is something that I forgot with this. So in the other ones, what I hope to accomplish by doing it this way is next stream we'll put together our transaction history. I interrupted myself like 6 times there, didn't I? We'll put together our transaction history table and be able to see it, and we'll put in some mock data so it looks like we have transactions in here. Then we'll show how to turn or how to put all of the functionality in the table to include sorting, filtering, scrolling with the virtualized component. We'll get all of that in there. Then we'll try it as a quick grid, see how hard or easy it is to set up quick grid, and just compare, because I like to compare. I like to see how things work together. Thank you so much, Dr. Moomba, for the follow. Really appreciate it. I'll be back again though tomorrow at 10:30 or 10:15. Yeah, 10:15. So in 2 Tuesdays is when my new Tuesday schedule is going to start. So not tomorrow, but next Tuesday. I think that I am going to stream after my meeting on Tuesdays. It's gonna be. We'll find out. We'll see how it goes. Cause like right now, I have another meeting scheduled daily at 8:30 for 2 weeks, and then I have the jury duty thing, and then I have no idea what time the XR stuff would happen or start. But yeah, we'll do that. We're gonna create a table. The thing that I wanted to remember real quick is in our line item history, I made a whole bunch of call groups, but I didn't actually scope anything to call them, so that these column groups are actually going to affect these. So if I do something like create a resize handle or something on there, then it'll be easier to target or something. I don't know. I really don't know what this is for. It might be for screen readers. It might just be, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what the scope attribute is for and using column groups. So I'll read more on that. But anyway, wonder when a repo is part of a popular open source project. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, that's a very vague term to use to decide who gets to use Copilot for free. It's just, it leaves too much room for interpretation. But anyway, I will be back again on the next time on Friday. We're going to raid Cetilix. Did I already raid him? I don't think I did. Discord. You guys got to check out his bot. Use it. The main one to use for his bot is distract. Just so you know. He really enjoys that. No, we did simple game dev last. Cool. So let's raid Cetilix. Give him a like. Subscribe to his channel. Wait, that's YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, I will be posting my videos on YouTube 24 hours after the stream. So Friday's stream should be posted by now. And today's stream will be posted tomorrow at 12:30. And then blah, 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 blah. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be lurking around other people's channels, but mostly I will be looking at that AR stream when it starts up, the one that Softer Than Software, I think it was Softer Than Software, pointed out. I can't even remember their name. It's so new in my head. But anyway, I'm subscribed to them, so I will see, or following them, so I'll see when they go live. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I push the start raid button and it starts counting down. If you feel like hanging out with me over in Cetilix's channel, that's where I'll be hanging out. But I will be doing a lot of AFK work, giving productive energy wherever I can. I'll see you all again the next time that you show up. And yeah, till then, ciao for now. Okay, bye. Yosh.